Have you ever known someone that everyone just completely wrote off as an absolute lost cause, like a total troublemaker, only for them to turn around and become a literal hero?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is one of the most compelling and honestly, probably the most misunderstood arcs in human psychology.
Mm.
That profound shift from just being a neighborhood menace to an absolute savior.
Right, exactly. And today we are exploring a brilliant, deeply moving short story that captures exactly that. It's called Captain Sahab, which translates to Captain Sir.
Yeah, it's an absolute masterpiece by the legendary writer Premchand.
It is, and it's extracted from the famous Mansarovar collection. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the journey of a delinquent youth who transforms into a revered military captain.
It's such a wild ride, honestly.
It really is. But hey, before we get into the mechanics of how a village terror becomes a decorated war hero, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're watching us on the Simplified Summary YouTube channel and you want to stay well informed without the overwhelm, hit subscribe, drop a like on this video, and share your valuable comments below.
Yes, please do. We genuinely appreciate the support. I mean, it's exactly what gives us the space to keep exploring these incredible psychological and narrative journeys with all of you.
Absolutely. Your support makes these deep dives possible. So to frame our conversation today, I want to introduce a concept. Think about how society diagnoses human behavior.
Right, like we treat it like a diagnostic X-ray.
Exactly. We look at a kid's actions, see a dark spot like a theft, a fight, a failure, and we immediately label the entire person as broken or bad. We just want a clean binary snapshot.
We really do. But as we are going to see with our protagonist today, a boy named Jagat Singh, the human spirit is not a static image on a light board. It's dynamic.
Highly dynamic.
Yeah. And the tragedy is that we often misdiagnose intense, raw potential as, a permanent character flaw.
So true. So let's look at the symptoms of Jagat's flaws. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, he was the undisputed champion of neighborhood chaos.
Oh, he really was.
The text gives us these incredibly vivid details about his early life. Like, to Jagat, the very idea of going to school was just repulsive. Premchand writes that it was like taking bitter quinine or drinking fish oil.
Ugh, yeah. Which is our first crucial data point, right? This tells us about his visceral reaction to confinement.
His body actively rejected the classroom.
Right, because the rote memorization style of education back then, it required passivity. And Jagat was biologically and psychologically wired for action. He didn't just dislike the subjects. His nervous system basically rejected sitting still.
So instead of sitting at a desk, he's out in the orchards stealing guavas. But here's the detail that really caught my eye.
Oh, the gardeners?
Yes. When the gardeners would catch him and just hurl curses at him, he didn't run away crying. He didn't feel shame at all. He absorbed their curses with joy.
He actually got a thrill out of it.
Exactly. He spent his days actively mocking old men, teasing people riding horses, and physically pulling on the backs of horse carts just to cause trouble.
See, we have to look at the neurochemistry of what is happening there. Because this isn't just a boy making casual mistakes,
Right.
This is an adolescent actively courting conflict. Because he's chasing a dopamine reward loop. He thrives on the adrenaline of being a nuisance.
Because it's stimulating.
Exactly. The fact that he enjoys the gardener's curses shows a deep-seated desire for a reaction. He wants to have an impact on his environment.
Yeah.
And in a village setting with no constructive high-stakes outlets, well, negative impact is just the easiest to achieve.
That makes a lot of sense. And the stakes definitely escalate. Because to fund these bad habits, he starts stealing from his own home.
Right, bottles, whatever he can find.
Yeah, anything he can grab. But there is one specific heist that is just staggering. He decides he wants to steal a large brass plate from his house.
Oh, this part is wild.
It is. To do this without alerting his family, he literally scales the cornices of his two-story house. He climbs the outside of a two-story building, silently in the dark, just to steal a plate.
I mean, consider the physical capability there. The risk tolerance and the spatial awareness required to execute that, those are elite physical traits.
Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying about undirected energy and physical traits, but I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Sure, go for it.
Let's be real. He climbed a two-story building to steal from his own family. That is not just youthful restlessness. That's an active betrayal of the people feeding him.
Yeah, that's true.
So how do we draw the line between a misunderstood, high-energy genius and someone who is just fundamentally selfish or bad?
It's a fair challenge. And honestly, it's exactly how his family and the village viewed him. They drew the line at betrayal.
Right, understandably.
But From a behavioral standpoint, we have to separate the morality of the action from the mechanism of the action. The environment lacks a framework to harness him.
So it's a mismatch.
Exactly. The friction between a kid wired for extreme physical risk and a village demanding quiet compliance creates this localized explosion. Society demands he be a square peg, and he is a remarkably sharp, highly volatile round hole.
And the splintering wood is what the village sees as his criminality.
Precisely.
Mm.
But those exact traits, the fearlessness, the resourcefulness, having an incredibly thick skin, and that high physical intelligence, those are the exact raw materials required for extreme competence in life or death environments.
Wow. So the environment is the poison, but in a different context, it could be the cure, which transitions us perfectly to the breaking point of the story.
The departure.
Yeah, the friction in the village reaches its absolute limit. Jagat decides he has had enough, or maybe he's just acting on pure kinetic momentum, but he abruptly leaves home. He ends up in Bombay, and he happens to watch the Rajput regiment parading on the fort grounds.
Which is a critical shift in scenery. I mean,
Yeah.
the Rajput regiment represents this storied, highly disciplined martial tradition. It is the complete antithesis of a village orchard.
Impulsively, he walks right up to the commanding captain and asks to be enlisted. He just looks the captain in the eye and claims he isn't afraid of hard work and he isn't afraid of death.
And considering his history of treating two-story drops as a casual afternoon activity, he's telling the absolute truth.
He really is. The captain takes him on, and soon Jagat is on a ship setting sail for Aden, a port city in Yemen. But the moment that ship leaves the harbor, as the physical land disappears from view, Jagat's tough, unbreakable exterior completely shatters.
The physical reality of separation is just an incredibly powerful psychological trigger.
He completely breaks down. He starts weeping. He suddenly misses his mother terribly. The text reveals that his mother was like the only buffer he had. She shielded him from his father's anger and his brother's constant taunts.
Right, she was his safe harbor.
Yeah. He remembers the time he was deathly ill and she sat by his bed, refusing to leave. So overwhelmed, he writes a letter to his mother from Aden.
Such a shift in his character.
A massive shift. He apologizes for his past, asks for her blessing, and makes this profound promise. He promises to do something worthy so she can proudly call him her son.
The arrogance of the guava thief is just entirely gone.
Entirely gone. And shortly after sending this letter, he receives word that his mother is sick. He actually begs the military captain for leave to go see her.
Oh, wow.
But the captain denies the request because a war is breaking out. I am fascinated by the whiplash of this entire sequence. Like, the tough guy who gleefully absorbed curses and stole from his own home is suddenly sobbing on a troop ship and writing heartfelt letters.
It's jarring, for sure.
It feels like the ultimate be careful what you wish for moment. Does physical distance actually change a person's core personality, or does it just strip away the distractions they were hiding behind?
It is almost entirely the latter. Think about the mechanics of his life in the village. His rebellion was basically a full-time job.
Right, a lot of work goes into being that annoying.
Exactly. He was constantly dodging his father, fighting the gardeners, planning his next theft, and defending his ego.
Yeah.
That constant state of conflict creates a massive amount of psychological noise. It shields him from his own conscience.
So he was too busy surviving the chaos he created to actually feel anything.
Precisely. Now place him on a troop ship in the early 20th century. He is experiencing profound sensory and social isolation.
He's stuck.
Yeah, he is no longer Jagat the troublemaker because nobody on that ship knows his history. The noise is gone. That isolation forces him to face his true inner state.
So it's not fear of the military.
No, not at all. He isn't crying out of cowardice regarding the war. He is experiencing the sudden crushing weight of unexpressed love and immense guilt.
And when he tries to act on that guilt, when he desperately wants to go backward and comfort his sick mother, the rigid structure of the military denies him.
Which is the true crucible of this story. His desire to return is thwarted by duty and the outbreak of war. He cannot go backward to make amends. He can only go forward. So he is forced to channel all that guilt, all that love for his mother, and all that volatile energy into the only avenue available to him.
But survival in a war zone is only half the battle. We have to look at how he actually handles the fire. The story jumps forward 4 years. Jagat is no longer a delinquent kid. He is Captain Jagat Singh.
An incredible rank to achieve.
Yeah, he has become an absolutely unmatched warrior in his regiment. He takes on the suicide missions, the ones where everyone else has lost hope.
He has finally found an arena whose stakes match his internal intensity.
Exactly. The text mentions these legendary feats that read straight out of a blockbuster film. He personally blows up a German magazine. And just to be clear, for anyone picturing a stack of newspapers, we are talking about an absolute powder keg of an ammunition dump.
Right, a massive explosion.
He rescues his own captain from direct machine gun fire. He carries a wounded subordinate on his shoulders to safety while actively under attack.
Just unbelievable bravery.
He actively courts death, but he survives every single time, earning the absolute trust of his officers and the unwavering love of his men.
Notice how the underlying behavioral traits haven't changed one bit. Only the application has changed.
It is an incredible parallel. It's like he took the exact same software, the recklessness, the total disregard for danger, the need to push physical limits, and he just installed it on a completely different hardware.
Let's examine how that hardware actually rewires him. Because the military provides three crucial elements the village never could.
What are they?
An unbreakable hierarchy,
Yeah.
noble purpose, and immediate lethal consequences. We talked earlier about his dopamine loop, right? How he used to get his thrill from angering a gardener.
Right.
Well, in the context of World War I, the stakes are ultimate. The neurochemistry of risk-taking is still firing, but the reward is now tied to saving lives under fire.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, the extreme discipline of the regiment provides the psychological scaffolding his high-risk adolescent brain always craved but never knew how to ask for.
That makes incredible sense from a physiological standpoint. But I'm still questioning his deep-seated motivation here.
How so?
Is he charging machine gun nests out of a pure newfound sense of patriotism? Or is he actually just trying to fulfill that written promise to his mother by actively chasing an honorable death? Like, is he weaponizing his own guilt?
It is almost certainly the latter, at least initially. This explores the psychology of redemption at its most extreme.
Right.
When you carry a guilt as heavy as the one Jagat carries regarding his betrayal of his family, merely being a good soldier isn't enough to balance the internal scales.
It's not enough to make up for the brass plate.
Exactly. You feel an unconscious need to be exceptional. You offer your life as penance. He is seeking a death that will retroactively justify his chaotic life.
He needs the ultimate sacrifice to prove he isn't the worthless kid his father thought he was.
Yes.
But the true test of Jagat's supposed redemption isn't just how he handles an enemy on a chaotic battlefield. The real test is how he handles the family that discarded him when the war is over.
Which brings us to the masterful narrative reversal of Premchand's story.
Yes. The story abruptly shifts away from the open, chaotic battlefield. We are suddenly transported back home, looking at a dark, depressing, claustrophobic jail cell.
Such a stark contrast.
It really is. Inside this cell is an old, emaciated prisoner named Jagat Singh. He's waiting out his final days. His sentence is actually ending, but he is completely alone in the world.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. At one point, another prisoner asks him if anyone has come from his home to collect him. And Jagat Singh just sadly replies, "Who is there at home? He has absolutely nothing and no one left."
It is the total erosion of a man's legacy. Just a quiet, agonizing despair.
The contrast is incredibly stark because suddenly the scene shifts to the jail courtyard. A grand phaeton carriage arrives. And for context, a phaeton is one of those luxurious, open-top, horse-drawn carriages that immediately signals absolute status and wealth.
It's a massive flex.
A massive. It is led by a high-ranking military officer riding on horseback. He's in a crisp khaki uniform wearing an embroidered turban. He looks incredibly imposing.
I can picture it.
The jail guards immediately snap to attention and present arms. Old Jagat Singh watches this grand display from his miserable cell, thinking to himself how lucky that prisoner is to have such an important person come to collect them.
The cinematic irony is building perfectly here. The listener can see the collision coming before the characters do.
Oh, absolutely. The officer dismounts his horse, he ignores the guards, ignores the warden, and walks straight toward the old, emaciated man in the cell.
Oh, man.
Jagat Singh looks up in absolute shock. His eyes widen, and he cries out, "Oh, son Jagat Singh!"
It is an absolute emotional gut punch of a resolution.
It is. The father, the man who likely cursed him daily, who gave up on him entirely, who thought he was a permanent stain on the family name, is now the one rotting in a jail cell.
Right.
And the worthless son is the grand, decorated captain riding in to rescue him. But I keep coming back to the power dynamic here.
It totally flipped.
Jagat Singh has every right to ride into that jail courtyard, look down at the father who despised him, and say, "Look at me now, and look at the pathetic state of you." He has the power to inflict the ultimate crushing revenge through his own towering success.
He possesses absolute leverage in that moment. And how he uses that leverage is the final proof of his transformation.
Exactly.
He doesn't seek revenge because his transformation on that battlefield wasn't just physical. It was deeply moral. He doesn't return with the arrogance of the boy who stole the brass plate. He returns with the honor he promised his mother he would achieve.
He kept his promise.
He did. The discipline of the military and the crucible of war didn't just make him a highly effective killer, it made him a magnanimous human being.
He uses his power not to punish his father's past failures, but to redeem them. The ultimate outcast becomes the ultimate savior.
And this raises a crucial point for you, the listener, to consider regarding our own biases. How often do we judge people's entire lives, their absolute worth, based on their messy beginnings?
All the time.
We write people off by the time they're 15 because they don't fit the rigid mold society has laid out for them. But human potential is not static.
It's fluid.
Yeah. The very traits that make someone a massive problem in one specific context might be the exact traits that make them a savior in another context.
We shouldn't seek to crush the spirit of the rebellious. We should seek to give them a mountain worth climbing. It brings us right back to that diagnostic x-ray we talked about at the very beginning of this deep dive.
Right, looking at the dark spots.
Yeah, we look at the dark spots on someone's record and assume the whole machine is broken. But Jagat Singh proves that the human spirit is a wildly unpredictable, deeply powerful energy. You just have to figure out where to point it.
It requires a profound shift in perspective. It forces us to ask, what if the difficult, restless people in our own lives aren't broken at all? What if they are simply waiting for a crisis or a purpose worthy of their immense, untapped capabilities?
That is a powerful takeaway. But it also leaves me with a final, slightly more provocative question to mull over.
Oh, yes. What?
Well, if extreme environments, strict hierarchies, and the crucible of war are what fix these so-called troublemakers, what happens to them when peacetime comes?
Oh, wow. That's a great point.
Right. Do they revert to chaos without a war to fight? Can a quiet, peacetime society ever truly accommodate a Jagat Singh once the medals are handed out and the guns go quiet? It's something to think about the next time you encounter someone who just doesn't seem to fit the mold.
It really is.
And hey, if this deep dive gave you an aha moment today, please do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the Simplified Summary channel, drop a like on this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. We love reading your perspectives and seeing how these stories connect with your own lives. Until next time, keep looking for the hidden potential in the people around you.